It's time for Mama Bear Donita on the Mama Bear Cancer Support Radio podcast. Welcome to the Sharing Den, where we share cancer stories, products, and information to support anyone going through the journey. We will be there for you. We will be there with you. Now, welcome Mama Bear Donita.
Hi, this is Mama Bear Donita, and you are listening to the Mama Bear Cancer Support Radio podcast on Society Bites Radio, part of the Radio Ear Network family. My podcasts are also available on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Miami Community Network. And today I want to welcome back SHIRA. SHIRA has been on the show a number of times, and we are going to do a 4-part series starting today. Just to remind you, SHIRA is a chronic care recovery provider working on a personal and corporate level for over 30 years. She integrates lifestyle habits, technology, and supplementation to provide a complete approach to health and healthcare. Welcome back, SHIRA.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Always so glad when you're on. And SHIRA and I are in another business together, and we are going to do a 4-part series on why the medical reasoning and common sense reasoning behind why we do what we do with this other company. So that's what we're starting with today, huh, SHIRA? We are.
Yes, we are.
And we're doing 4 parts. So this is part 1, and we are going to go over how and why oxidative stress is killing us. So I think we should probably start with, you've been on the show before. We did a whole show on oxidative stress. So if you're listening and you don't remember, go back in the archives and Google or put in SHIRA LITWICK and then put oxidative stress, and the first one will come up, and it does not say part 1. So this next one has oxidative stress in it also, but it's part 1. But with all that said, let's go back over oxidative stress again.
Okay. Well, first of all, Donita, I have to thank you because to me, the most important thing for us to talk about is oxidative stress. And it is at the root of every single one of our chronic illnesses, mental, physical, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, cancers, diabetes, heart disease, autoimmune, arthritis, you name it. And the way I describe oxidative stress when I was teaching other health and fitness professionals is think of oxidative stress as our kryptonite. Everyone remembers Superman?
Yep.
And Superman had his kryptonite. Oxidative stress is our kryptonite. The only thing is where we're at a disadvantage, our kryptonite isn't confined to the planet Krypton or whatever it was.
It's a little bit more widespread.
Yeah, my Superman trivia is not that good, so you have to forgive me. But it's everywhere for us. And oxidative stress is something that we produce inside as a normal byproduct, and our bodies have to have the ability to fight it. Now, in this wonderful world we live in, we also have oxidative stress hitting us from the outside as well. And so that's why we really have to understand what oxidative stress is in order to be able to truly live a healthy life, because a lot of what we could be doing could be for naught.
Right.
In fact, it could be hurting us, but we're going to get into that in a little bit. So oxidative stress is really electron thievery. Okay. So we have imbalanced molecules in the body, and what happens is they steal electrons from each other, trying to become complete. You know that expression, you complete me? They're looking for electrons to complete themselves. So oxidative stress is an imbalance. It's an imbalance between the production of free radicals in our body, those that lose electrons, and the ability of the body to counteract this or detoxify their harmful effects with the production of antioxidants. You'll sometimes hear the expression our redox state, which is whether, which side is winning, so to speak. So that's really what it's about. And it's, again, what's important to understand, we have oxidative stress from the inside as well as from the outside, from the world we live in.
Yeah, something that just was pointed out to me, and I think you and I have talked about this before privately, is that everybody has Scotchgard in them, and they can't get rid of it. Like, there's no way to well, maybe there is, but as when the person told me that, they said they were in college, and he was a scientist, and he said, we just found out that literally everything you sit on, like the couch and the outdoor chairs, everything has Scotchgard on it.
Yeah,
And our
you know
body
those
doesn't.
fire retardants? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Those chemicals that are put on. Yeah,
Yes.
those are wicked.
Yeah.
Fabric softeners. Wow, we could do a whole show on fabric
I know
softeners.
those are awful. I just stick with my static cling. I'm good. I'd rather have static cling than any of those chemicals.
You got it. You're so right. You're so right.
Oh goodness.
So there's a good one. Yeah, there's a lot of them. It's everywhere. And so when you combine that with alcohol drinking, cigarette smoking, not just smoking, but secondhand and third-hand cigarette smoke that most people aren't aware of, and you combine that with our cell phones and all of this wonderful technology, let's talk about what's called endocrine disruptors. In our foods, in our food supply, genetically modified foods. Let's look at, basically we're being attacked from every angle. So what we have to do is we have to have the ability to counteract that with plenty of antioxidants to neutralize it.
Well, and I want to throw in just a sentence right now that says we're not being alarmists. I mean, this is just fact. And if you don't want to accept that, that's up to you. I mean, like, you don't accept it, but that doesn't mean it's not happening.
Correct.
So,
Absolutely.
and I'm not being like all hysterical. Oh my gosh, every couch you sit in is going to poison you, which, while it's probably true, I mean, that's that. And you just have to figure out a way around it.
But here's the way I look at it. We all have to make choices. Okay. And, we have to be okay with the choices we make, but let's be educated.
Right.
So whereas people get obsessed about eating the perfectly right oatmeal, well, I could point to some other things going on that maybe are a little bit more alarming. Okay. And instead of getting fixated on certain things, and when I first started researching and studying oxidative stress, as my kids would say back in the days of the dinosaurs,
right.
When we first, people thought we were crazy, like we're making up, kryptonite or the Loch Ness monster. But no, it's proven. It's there. It's massive research, and it's not even a question anymore.
Right. Right. So why are some people more susceptible to oxidative stress than other people?
It comes down to a couple of things, but, so number one is the body's innate ability to be able to produce antioxidants, which we're going to get to. So that's number one. Number two is, again, with genomic testing, we've learned a lot about DNA methylation and whether people have the ability to methylate. Sounds kind of kinky, doesn't it?
It sounds kind of fun. What is that?
Right. We want to methylate. So the whole idea of methylation, it's basically a carbon and 3 hydrogen atoms. And what it does is that toxins build up in our bloodstream. And if our body cannot methylate properly, then this will eventually cause disease. Methylation also helps the enzymes, which we know are a necessity for every chemical reaction that goes on in our body. And DNA methylation is very important. Okay, so DNA methylation, what that is that often inhibits the expression of certain genes that we might carry. But what happens is so, for instance, we read about this in breast cancer and a number of different cancers, is that a certain gene is turned on, like BRCA genes and all of these genes that exist. Well, methylation is our body's ability to shut those down. And unfortunately, just like our body's ability to produce its own antioxidants, DNA methylation is something that slows down also as we age, and very much so, very highly linked in research to diet. And so, for instance, I mean, forgive me for saying this, but The three vitamins that are most related to methylation are B12, B6, and choline.
Wow.
Now, let's go through. What are our sources of B12, B6, and choline?
I don't know the last one. What's the last one? Say it again.
Choline.
What is
So
that?
the main sources where we get all of these vitamins, okay, are beef, eggs, bananas, fish, dairy, chicken, potatoes.
Oh boy.
If I say those foods to you, what goes through your head?
Oh boy. What am I going to eat now?
Good for you that you eat. Good for you that you eat them. But how many of those foods, beef, eggs, bananas, fish, dairy, chicken, potatoes, how many of those foods have people written off from their diets because they say, oh no, they're too much sugar, or oh no, beef is bad, or eggs are bad, and eggs cause cholesterol. Oh, bananas are nothing but sugar. How often do we hear things like that?
All the time.
Exactly. Yeah. So when we take on these diets, which we think are so healthy, and we're eliminating entire food groups, I think people need to think again.
Yeah. Isn't it just about balance? Like, just
Absolutely.
Your entire existence, isn't it about balance, period? If I ate a entire cow yesterday, maybe I should not have cow for the rest of the week, or one drink a day, not 30,
And having a soft-boiled egg is not the same thing as having, oh my gosh, what's it called? The eggs and the cream. Having
Eggs Benedict.
Thank you. Eggs Benedict. It doesn't mean you have to have the eggs Benedict, okay? I mean, bananas doesn't mean you eat a fried banana. You have a banana. Fish doesn't mean we eat fried fish. Dairy, you hear what, so there's and beef takes a very bad rap because of so much of the garbage
and stuff,
the antibiotics, exactly. The growth hormones, all of these things that are put inside beef in the United States, not any other country. But
you're right.
That in there. But so it's the beef that's taking the hit. So yeah, there's such a thing called moderation, 150%. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of choking, but I'll be okay. Just keep talking. Eventually I'll come back. I'm just joking. I'm all right. But so why do you think that methylation gene offers so much information for oxidative stress? Like, how is that linked?
So oxidative stress, we know, is everywhere. It's from the inside and it's from the outside. So methylation is one of those ways that we can help control, the toxins that build up. Okay, so the toxins from oxidative stress and the issues that we have, and all of, it's one more defense system for our body. So what happens is, again, as we age, or we eat a poor diet, or we drink a lot of alcohol, all of these things affect the body's ability to methylate. And it's been proven in genomic testing that some people have a much stronger ability to methylate on their own.
So I just did these sessions on a side note with a spiritual leader, and she went through and cleaned out we went through and cleaned out my past DNA issues in my body spiritually. Mm-hmm. And so this is completely not scientific. I understand that. But we did do that because she said you can go through times where your family's past can genetically follow you. And you can, how like some families have like runs of suicide, or some families,
yes,
like Kennedys seem to meet disaster all the time, things like that. Yeah. That's DNA-ly passed along, kind of more in a spiritual sense. So I think that you just said that, it just reminded me of that I think that too, sometimes you do carry family stuff that carries on for generations and generations and builds up in people. Just a side note.
Well, we also have a whole field of science called psychoneuroimmunology. Okay. And basically, if you want to take the scientific side of what you're saying, that's basically if we constantly think about something, or if we're constantly stressed about something, the ability for it to affect us. So, yeah, exactly what you're saying.
Yep. Just a little side note. Anyway, so back to what about